Every year during draft season, you cook.
I appreciate that. I really appreciate it from a young pup because some of y'all be getting a little salty.
We gonna get into that.
Yeah, we definitely gonna get into that. But look.
Yo, this is Pat Surtain.
And it's TA, man.
And this is Close on Sundays, a Wave original. Man, it seems like every week we have a lot to update everyone on. TA, let's pop it off. I know you have some things to say. Tell us how you feeling. What's going on, my boy?
Man, everything going good with me. Staying level-headed, man. You know, I know the news came out the other day, just as far as about shoulder surgery, man. And I'm just looking forward to the road to recovery. It's hard, but like how we talked about, just as far as something you got to get through, another phase in life. I look at it as far as, man, it's another challenge that God got for me, and I'm gonna go through that, man. So, you know, that's that. But what's going on with you? You know, first game back, I was watching, I was tuned in. Teach tape reps. Teach tape reps. I mean, you know, playing against the Commanders, we already played against them, so I already know, like, just as far as schemes and stuff, and like you being out there. But how did it feel for you being back out there?
Shoot, honestly, it felt good, bro. You know, I was confident out there. It felt good to be back out there with my teammates, you know, with the band of brothers. And the locker room we got, I think we got a very strong locker room. You know what I mean? You could tell everybody's playing out there for one another. So, you know, it's always good to be back out there with the guys. It was a tough game, though. I mean, we went into OT with the Commanders. Them boys had a heck of a game plan. You know what I mean? They played their tails off. It was another game. We had to find a way to get the dub, find a way to get the win. It wasn't going to be easy. And that's the type of team we are now. Like, we know teams going to give us, you know, their best shot. And we got to find a way to respond. And I think that's what we did. In critical moments, I feel like, you know, we made the key plays that we needed to make. Shout out Nick Benito on his deflection, on his breakup to seal the game. I think that was huge. But, you know, your boy, you know, he did his thing. You know what I mean? I had to shake the rust off a little bit, get my feet back. But, yeah, I felt confident out there. So it feels good being in this spot with the team, just looking to get better next week. So
that's good, bro. That's really good, man. You guys also have the number 1 seed in the AFC, holding the tiebreaker over the Patriots. So that's congrats. Congrats to you, my brother. Yep. That's a big accomplishment. So how are you looking at preparing going into the playoffs and the rest of the season?
Shoot, I'm looking at it as I feel like we control our own destiny, you know, at this point. You know, obviously we try and get that number 1 seed. Obviously us and the Patriots, you know, we dueling it out, you know, trying to get that number 1 because I think that's very crucial in the playoffs. You always want that home field advantage. And I always say, man, I think if we get the number 1 seed, man, we're going to be a tough team to beat. You know what I mean? We're a tough team to beat at home already. So I think that's going to be huge. But you could just feel it in the air, bro. Like the whole city of Denver, like they're rooting for us. The energy's different in the locker room. Yeah, it's exciting, man. It's an exciting time of the year because the past few years around this time, we was talking about off-season plans, like where we going, what trips we taking. But now we talking about Super Bowl aspirations and stuff like that. So, you know what I mean? That's a big growth from past years. So definitely feeling good about it. Very excited, very optimistic about it. So I'm just going to keep on getting better. The team going to keep on getting better. So like I said, man, we didn't make it this far for nothing. I think we got big aspirations ahead. So.
All right. So, you know, even in our game, I saw something that happened in my game happen to you. And I feel like, you know, when you just a man corner and in critical situations, when teams kind of motion and they ID that you in man, you know what type of routes you're going to get. Mm-hmm. But it's still hard to guard, man. Yeah. I saw you get picked. Yeah. How did you feel about that right there? Kind of walk us through that.
I think it was a tough situation. You know, obviously, when you're in the red zone, you know what I mean, the field, the offense only got so much more to work with. And, you know, a lot of teams like to run crosses, you know, across the field and stuff like that, you know, because a lot of teams run man in that area. And, you know what I mean, they executed the right way. They ran the pick play on your boy. I should have known. I should have done a better job of realizing what was going on in the situation. You know what I mean? Because we sent an all-out blitz, and I feel like they knew it, and they was going to try to find the easiest way to break man-to-man coverage. And the easy way to do that is to run the pick rub. Me and the other DB, we was on the same levels. I don't know. I think it's always a tough route to stop, knowing you're going against, two factors, two variables during the situation. So, I mean, shout out to them. They executed. They ran a great play. But looking back at it, I could have been in a better position just off of my alignment. But I don't know. I feel like dude nudged me as well, going into the route. So, it's just a tough route in general. But, we see those every week in the red zone. You see pick rubs, you see mesh, you see all those type of routes. So just got to be situationally aware in that situation.
Situationally aware.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, TA, though, obviously y'all coming off a tough loss against Green Bay. Obviously, it's going back and forth. How did you feel about that game? Do you feel like y'all left some things out on the table, or was it just a well-executed game against Green Bay?
And that game right there, obviously with that being my first game back, I think it's one of those things where just playing corner, every little play matters.
Yeah.
And with me getting back out there, like my team, they did a good job just as far as like allowing me to kind of get acclimated, especially coming off a concussion. So just piecing me in, putting me in certain positions. And games like that, like it's hard, especially with the way that we play. Like just knowing when you line up like plays that you have to make. Like if I could have one play back, it would just be like, man, that third down and like them converting it, like I gotta win that. Me just being able to accept accountability for myself, that's the type of person I am.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you had to ask me, like I feel like plays are gonna be made in the game, and it was a game that was going back and forth, but ultimately like you gotta find a way to win. Like you gotta find a way to win. And that third down, like that's something that's still eating me alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, even on that play right there, just the red zone play, like similar to your situation, like when I got picked, like I always think in my head, like what's other ways that I could have made the play. Like even just having situational awareness, kind of knowing how they gonna attack you. And I feel like if not our coach, but like my coach put me in a call, it's my job to go out there and execute it for him. So that's just something that I'm even taking with me into like my recovery, just becoming more cerebral, and then stuff like that. When you finally get to playing good football, you start getting over the hump, like even how we talked about like earlier in the season, and just me like adjusting to myself. Then this happens, so it's just one of those things where I know my best ball is ahead of me. So just got to continue to keep chopping, continue to keep working. And like you said, when I was when you was down, I said, man, I'm out there, you living through me. Same thing with you. So I be
I'm
a little sling in my little sling, watching my team, and then watching y'all. Unless y'all play us, and you know how I feel towards you.
BTA.
I hope you get blurred.
BTA.
I hope you get blurred 3 times.
Damn.
Yeah.
3 times?
Yeah, if it's against us. I hope you get blurred every play you line up.
Good luck. Good luck.
Hey.
It'll be a tough going. It'll be a tough going.
That's how you feel?
Yeah, it'll be a tough going.
So you lined up backside.
Mm-hmm.
With J-Mo.
Yeah.
You run a go.
I don't give a damn how fast you is, boy. I'm using this technique. If I'm backside, I'm not going to... Listen, bro, if I'm backside with J-Mo and I know he running fade, bro, fuck it. Why not just bail that bit? I'm going to beat you to the spot.
What if you convert it and run a comeback?
Shit, I'll let him have that. As long as I don't get blurred, I'm good. I'm good.
What if you in the C gap and you one-on-one in the hole with Gibbs? You think you making that tackle?
What's up with all these hypotheticals, bro?
Hey, I'm not out there, bro. I gotta. I can only speak hypothetically right now.
Since I'm living through you, I'm gonna do what TA do. What would you do in that situation?
I'm making that play.
Yeah, I'm making that play 1-on-1.
But you're not me, and I'm not you.
All right, close on Sunday, viewers. Today we're bringing back our new segment we're introducing called Under the Lights, presented by Toyota.
For those who missed it last week during Under the Lights, we're taking it back to the early days high school ball, college recruitment, Friday nights.
We're using this time to tap back into the real roots of all this. When we fell in love with the game and when it became real. Let's get into it.
All right, Pat, I got one for you. Tell me the best player you remember going up against or seeing in high school football. We all got that one that stands out.
Honestly, being from the crib, there's a plethora of talent. I got 3, though. I don't just got one, I got 3. I got Sam Bruce. I think he was way, beyond his time. His routes, ain't nobody's running routes out there, boy. In and out of breaks, electrifying. I got Delvin Cook. Many people may not know this other person, but he was with Delvin Cook in Central. His name Joseph Yerby. That boy is a real deal. They had a 2-headed monster back there, boy. I'm talking about, I look up, they scoring every play.
What's in every play?
Every damn play, bro. Them boys is different, dog. I ain't gonna lie. I just think being from South Florida, I think it's the mecca of football. You see talent, everywhere you go. From South Florida, West Palm, Shoot, maybe even Tallahassee. I don't know what y'all got up there, but
we got that.
But I say them 3 for sure. That's who stand out for me. Moving on though, one I have for you, what's one recruitment reality check you got? Maybe a coach making a promise to you that ended up being BS, a visit just going all the way wrong. It's never as good as it sounds, so fill us all in on that.
11th grade, I had went to the University of Florida. When I had went to the University of Florida, the first thing that kind of caught me off guard was Dan Mullen. I seen his wife kiss everybody on the cheek. As the players walking out, I was like, he kissed everybody on the cheek. I just kind of thought that was a little off to me. But he's a player's first coach, man, and that's the way you make people feel like a brotherhood and stuff, man. Tradition is tradition, whatever they had going on.
Yeah.
So then after that, the coach was Ron English. He was the safeties coach at the time because in high school I played safety. So at this time I had just got ranked 4-star. I think I was probably number 12 safety in the class. This was early on, man. We just talking. He's like, yeah, man, when TA get here, man, he gonna do this, he gonna do this. And I remember I was watching, I think it was kind of like a scrimmage or something that they had. And I remember just watching CJ Henderson.
Mm-hmm.
At this time, that's when, CJ Henderson was coming up. And I'm like, dang, man, just the way that the coaches talk about him, they because he didn't scrimmage. It was like, yeah, man, if CJ was right there, man, he wouldn't have did that. He wouldn't have caught that. After that, I remember Coach English looking at me. It was my grandfather, my grandmother. I'm right there. And he was like, so, TA, after everything I done told you, man, let's go ahead and lock it in, man. You ready to commit? My granddad look at me. I'm looking at him. I'm like, man, Coach, I ain't ready yet, man. I'm going to take a little bit more time. And then he looked at me and said, time? Oh, nah. That position going to be gone. You need to make a decision today. He almost hey, whatever time you need, I can step out the room real quick. When I get back in the room, I need to go ahead and have this answer.
Yeah.
It's just kind of pressuring me into that. And I'm like, Coach, I need some time, man. I don't really know right now. I need to weigh my options, man. So then after that, my granddad, he looking at him, he like, nah, Coach, we really need some time. And then I remember the last thing he told me, he was like, well, when you leave, man, shoot, somebody else probably gonna have that spot. You know that.
Yeah.
My granddad looked at me and he was like, if you that good, they gonna wait. Yeah. After that, Florida had kind of just went on my radar. I remember Coach Saban, talking to him. I was like, yeah, Coach, man, I'm unsure of my decisions and stuff. And Coach Saban, one thing I respect about him, he never pressured me into a decision. You know how it is, when you sit on the phone with him. First thing, people don't even know, you know this. When you talk to Coach Saban on the phone, the first thing you do, his assistant gonna call you. Mm-hmm. All right, he's ready for you. then they gonna set it up. They go Kerrigan right here, the assistant. She gonna be in the front. Okay, Coach is getting ready to come in the room. Are you ready? Boom. Then she get up and leave. Then Coach, here you go. He comes sit down. How you doing, Patrick Surtain? And then you know how he is. well, you know, we got guys like here where if you were here right now, you know, we kind of see you as like a mixed player. You'll be playing cornerback in a little bit of the star position. The star position is what I call a little versatile. So you know how you get when he talking to you, but having them conversations with him, I ain't know what coach was talking about, man. He over here talking about, man, rip lids, coverage, man, you got to make the under alert and all this. I'm like, man, yeah, coach, for sure.
I hear you.
Yeah, I hear you
For sure.
And then you know how I get. So like, I mean, if you were in there, what would you be doing? Coach, I would have made that undercall. I would have made that call. Just fast forward, when I eventually ended up becoming like a 5-star, ended up being ranked like the #1 safety in the country or whatever. Florida, they like, man, you know, we didn't know he told you that. And like, it's kind of piggybacking off of that. I'm like, dang, my granddad was right. If you that good, then you will end up waiting. It just showed me, man, like your word is everything you got.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of like all like the jokes that you hear. You know, obviously going to Bama and stuff, even how people talk about us, like saying like, man, you went to Bama, man, you ain't do your work. Or you went to Bama, man, they paid you. Like, nah, they ain't paid me. And then, yeah, if you know Coach Saban, he had that point system, boy, you definitely had to do your work. All right, leave class if you want to. Every time I try to leave class, Miss Molly, she right here. R.I.P. to Miss Mary. Hey, Miss Mary right there. And Chelsea. I always say Chelsea, man. I used to look at Chelsea. Oh, yeah, trying to walk. I'm just going to the bathroom real quick. Get a call from Molly. Why you trying to leave? Yeah, Molly, oh, man, you know, you walking back. I'm looking at Chelsea like, you snitch, man. Like, I wasn't even leaving. Like, nah, just that whole experience for me, man. But nah, that right there, and I like to the other thing, I'd probably say livest high school players I ever watched. Ronnie Harrison.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Ronnie, because we went to the same school. So seeing Ronnie, like most people don't know Ronnie.
The Bama legend.
Yeah, I think Ronnie was committed to North Carolina at first at quarterback, and then he ended up committing to Bama at safety, man. But Ronnie, like growing up in Tally, like going to the same school, everybody wanted to be like Ronnie. Like, Ronnie was playing varsity in the 7th grade. I remember like, I'm in 7th grade, man. I'm middle school. Body ain't developed yet. Gotta wait your turn. So I mean, Ronnie and then Tutu Atwell. They came and played Rickhurst High School. Tutu was playing quarterback, bro. Man, that was the livest quarterback I had ever seen, boy.
Bro.
I'm talking about Tutu looked like a creative player out there, boy. Like, I think I was in like 7th, 8th grade watching. I'm like, boy, he live. Like that Miami Northwestern team was fire. It's just kind of crazy when you even like break down high school, because it's like when you look at guys and then you even look at development. Like I remember even like going into Bama, like people don't even know. Like you kind of remember because he came after you, but like Ajay Hall. Like, bro, Ajay went crazy in that spring game, bro.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like Ajay was supposed to be the next freak.
That boy looked fast too. You know how you see people pictures? You know what I mean? He'd be like, oh yeah, that motherfucker fast.
No, he was fast. Ajay was fast.
Yeah.
He was fast. These really bring back some crazy memories, and that was Under the Lights, presented by Toyota.
Toyota's all in, all season, bringing back another exciting year of Toyota game day giveaways.
The official automotive partner of the NFL is rewarding football fans with a chance to win epic giveaways every week of the season.
Predict between big plays happening in the second half of every Sunday night football game and get a chance to win prizes like Brock Purdy's Sequoia, NFL shop merch, and more.
This week's giveaway is Texans versus Chiefs on Sunday, December 7th. Pat, tell the people what they could win.
This season, fans will each win a $150 gift card just in time to gift or gift yourself the gear you love.
It's 22 weeks of fun and thousands of prizes. Head over to toyota.com/NFL to learn more. That's toyota.com/NFL.
No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited. Ends on February 8th, 2026. Open to legal residents of the 50 U.S. states and Washington, D.C., 18 and over.
For complete details, how to enter prizes, and official rules, visit www.toyotasgamedaygiveaways.com.
Close on Sundays, viewers. We got a legend in the building today. One of the greatest competitors, one of the coldest trash talkers, and honestly, one of the best personalities the league has ever had. Welcome in the building, the man himself, Steve Smith Sr. What it do, my dog?
What's up, man? How you doing?
One and only.
How you living? How you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling good, bro. Just had Thanksgiving, you know.
Yeah.
Didn't eat too much. Trying to slim down. You know, I was Whew, back in the summer, boy. I
Uh-huh.
was
What you had on your plate? If you care to mention.
man, I'm light skinned, so I gotta have yeah. I'm just right. I gotta do turkey. I really don't eat pork, so I haven't eaten pork in like 15, 20 years.
What them sides looking like?
Besides, mac and cheese,
The usual.
and then what I really love, man, is turkey stuffing with some gravy and some cranberry sauce.
Okay,
Yeah.
man.
Okay.
Hey, you know something.
Yeah,
You know something.
And
You know
I go with the can too. I want the can.
Yeah, you can't
canned
mess that up
cranberry.
right there.
Yeah,
You
I don't
can't
know
mess
what
that
it
up.
is, bro. I love it, dog. I love it.
Yeah.
I feel you on that,
And
man.
then the
Well,
next
hey,
day, put that thing in a microwave.
Hey, the leftovers
it
be
tastes
even
better.
better though.
It tastes
Yeah.
better.
You start microwaving and it
Is-
starts sizzling.
Yeah.
That's when you know that thing about to be hot.
It's like the
So, like, when you
refrigerator
want
bring
your-
in, like it marinates it more a little
Yeah,
bit,
yeah.
for the next
When
day.
you warm your food up, do you just like put it in the microwave or do you put something over it?
Well, generally, I don't use a microwave very often. I actually have a steam
Air
oven,
fryer.
so
Oh,
that
steam
way it
oven.
doesn't
Yeah.
dry it out. So, but
Mhm.
sometimes you're in a hurry. You just let me nuke this thing real quick.
You know a little trick if you ain't got that, you kind of like wet a paper towel, then you put it over it so it keep the moisture inside it.
Terrion, how old are you?
I'm 22.
Yeah, I've been cooking damn near since I was 10 years old. So I got 30 years on you. I tell you a
Have
trick.
experience.
Instead of putting a wet towel, you go ahead and do the time, and then you do power level. Hit that thing about 7 or 6, and you don't need that towel, bro. You slow cook it.
I never do that.
Yeah, see? DBs.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, Okay.
The more you know.
Anyways, that leads me to my next question, man. Before we get into anything, we want to know this, man. I got to start with this. Did you ever face Pat's Pop in the league?
Mhm.
Like, did those matchups ever cross?
Mhm.
How were those matchups?
I was a young buck, scared for my life. Just straight up, just because when he was in Miami, it was Sam Madison and him. It was a big deal, man. You always knew when you had to come to Miami, those guys were going to put their paws on you. You were going to have to fight for every yard. I believe he was with, I think my rookie year. So I didn't really play wide receiver much. I was just on special teams. But just watching film with Musa Muhammad, Donald Hayes, all those guys, Patrick Jeffries, I knew I wasn't ready to be in the league, to play some of those guys. Back in the day, this is Patrick Surtain, Ashley Ambrose, Ray Buchanan, right? Otis Smith. So these are legendary corners who can play zone, could play man coverage, can also attack the run, fill in the gaps. So you're talking about grown men who understood the game inside and out.
Well, speaking of that, you mentioned before briefly that you said Champ Bailey was the best corner you played against through your experience in the league. Walk us through that. Like, what was those matchups like? Like, what made him a tough opponent to go up against?
At the time, though, right, is when I was just kind of coming into my own. I think I was in my third or fourth year. We playing in at the time, the Commanders. And this was prior to him getting traded to Denver, right? So, man, I'm going against, it's a big game, right? Stephen Davis was a big acquisition for the Panthers. So Stephen Davis was there. Stephen Davis is going against his whole team. And man, that was the first time that I had a guy literally line up everywhere I lined up. When I say everywhere, they put me at running back and Champ was lined up as linebacker, right? So there was nothing I can do to get away from him. And I just never experienced that. I experienced playing against some good players, but I never experienced being followed everywhere. And we thought we had a good game plan. Oh, surely he'll never come down if we put you at halfback. And he was sitting right there. I was like, I looked at the sideline like, we didn't go over this one. So, and just the experience was awesome. I struggled a ton just because I had never really went against somebody. The first play of the game or first pass play of the game, had a little quick release inside, ran a little deep in, gave him a little chicken wing, leaned inside. Jake threw me a pass, and I was like, let's go. Man, I tried that same. We had a couple of plays later. I was on the right side, had that same little quick release. Man, he jammed me so hard, one of my straps from my shoulder pads popped off. And I just got frustrated. What'd you say?
So he souped up, ain't it?
Yeah, it was a dogfight, and it was awesome though because it was a great experience. I was frustrated. I literally had to learn some new releases in the middle of the game. I mean, I'm talking about drawing up in the dirt, and it wasn't a coming out party for me. It was more of establishing, like, man, this is how you're gonna have to play in the league. This is what it means to be the number one wide receiver, and I never experienced that. I didn't experience that in college, right? So coming to the league, I was told it possibly can happen, but I never experienced it yet. My rookie year, I didn't play. I've only played special teams. My second year, I started a few games, and then my third year, that's really when I felt comfortable, and it was a challenge, but it was a challenge that prepared me moving forward. And there's a number of receivers, a number of corners that I went against that followed me, but none like Champ, where he literally lined up everywhere I lined up.
As far as that, kind of like how you make in-game adjustments, and like you saying like that kind of like taught you a lot, and just like speaking on perseverance and stuff. How did you attack like that next year or like that off season when you kind of like had a break? Like, how did you change up the way you was training, or like just from that experience? What helped you, and like what did you use to better yourself after that experience?
Well, after that experience, I actually had something happen the year before. I rolled my ankle. I was at the YMCA shooting hoops, right? So I rolled my ankle.
You a hooper?
No, I thought I was a hooper.
Okay, you kind of like Pat.
I'm just being honest. I thought I was a hooper.
That's how Pat is.
And then I thought I was a hooper. Then all of a sudden you go to the YMCA and there's some NBA players like like a Muggsy Bowl out there who's that tall.
Muggsy Bowl.
Wait, hold on. Muggsy Bowl was at the YMCA?
Yeah, bro. In off season, everybody pick up.
Damn, Mighty Mike out there.
Yeah, hey, he was over there. He was dropping dudes left and right, crossing them over. And it was dope, man. But so I rolled my ankle, and I rolled it pretty bad. It was black and blue. Had to wear a walking boot, crutches. And they started doing rehab. I started doing rehab. You picking up the scrunching the towel with your toes, right? Mm-hmm. Doing the damn alphabets in the air, picking up the marbles, right? Standing on that little balance. And I just started doing a lot of things that I struggled to do. And so I was like, yo, I said this to myself. I was like, if I didn't get hurt, would I ever do these type of calisthenics or rehab? And the answer was no. It was isolation. And so after that, that was probably for the team, they didn't like it. But for me, it put me on a quest that said, man, I need to find me a trainer that can work me out specifically to me. And I found this dude named Jed Hardigan. He was young, 20, 24, 20, 23. And he was my trainer for pretty much 90% of my career. And I stuck with him to this day. He's trained my boys when they're doing stuff. So he's my go-to guy. And I just learned a lot. And the way I trained in off season as if like my ankle, I was injured. And so I started doing isolation, quads, hamstring. A lot of receivers deal with a lot of fast guys deal with hamstrings, right? And he would strengthen my hamstrings. We worked on my stiff arm. We worked on just things that worked for me, specifically to run my routes to be effective according to my game. And man, I'm being sarcastic, but I think it worked out pretty well for myself.
It definitely did. It definitely did. So, every year during draft season, you cook.
Yeah,
you cook.
Bro. I appreciate that.
Give credit where credit due.
I really appreciate it from a young pup because some of y'all be getting a little little
Man,
salty.
hey, yeah.
We gonna get into that.
Yeah, we definitely gonna get into that. But look, every year during draft season, you cook, your evaluations hit, break down receivers better than most front offices do. Have you ever thought about becoming a GM one day? Or like stepping into that personal world seriously?
Yeah, I've talked to some teams and some organizations about some stuff, but ultimately, man, the front office work is difficult. It's difficult on a ton of reasons. One, a lot of the front office people, some of them have played in the league, but majority of them have not. So it's difficult. They make you earn your stripes, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that that's a problem, but as a former player, sometimes we get the notion that we should skip the line, that we should get ahead of other people who started in the trainer, who started as equipment and then moved up, and they've been with the organization for 17, 20 years. They got hired when they were 19, 20 years old, and now they're 35, and now they're becoming a general manager. And I'm not knocking those guys, because some of those guys, like a Brandon Beane, when I got drafted in 2001, he picked me up from the airport. Now he's a general manager and doing some big things, and doing some big things with the Buffalo Bills. I just know to get to that path is going to take a lot. It's going to take some patience. And I'm just not willing to really go down that path just because I'm a grinder, but I want to work smarter, not necessarily harder at my age.
That's the truth. Even when you sit up there and like break down evaluations and stuff, even as like the video that you had with Pat, like you could really tell that you are really a student of the game. And just as far as that experience and stuff, and we got like a different type of crowd as far as our younger viewers and stuff. Could you just elaborate on how to watch film? Like, how do you watch film? Because I feel like, even with me speaking personally, like I really didn't know how to watch film for real until probably my junior year of college. And the reason why I learned is just because I was in there with the coaches during the off season. I was like, man, I really just want to start breaking down film. How coaches break down film. So how do you watch film?
Well, I went to University of Utah. We weren't as good and considered a really good school, back then when I was playing, back yonder. And when I was playing in Utah, we were in the Mountain West, which was originally the WAC. So we played Air Force, New Mexico State, Wyoming, San Diego State, Air Force. Right, some of the teams that we played weren't necessarily super athletic. They made sure that they had a great scheme to hide some of the deficiencies of some of the lesser athletes. So I learned that the guy that recruited me out of Santa Monica Community College was Fred Graves, and he was a Compton dude, he was a LA dude. So he was up in LA all the time. So he always came correct. He always was a straight shooter. Obviously, me not being 6 feet, I knew, and he told me, you got to be on your P's and Q's. You can't just come in and out athletic people. They're going to discredit you. Hawaii, they liked me until they saw my height. San Diego State liked me until they saw my height. And so I just realized once I got to college, I need to know, and I need to be on top of my P's and Q's. And so I did that. And then when I got to league as a punt returner, kickoff returner, all I did was sit in meetings and kind of wait for my opportunity. And so by knowing that, I just always studied. I understood that you got to know the game inside out. Because I was a shorter receiver, I looked for every opportunity. So how do I watch film? Man, watching film for me is very easy. But what I do is, man, I turn on the film and I just let the film talk to me. I don't come in with any preconceived notion of someone. I don't. I have a list of guys that I'm supposed to look at, and I just go down the list. And when I'm watching a film, if I see something he likes, I'll keep watching. If I see something I don't like, man, I turn it off or I move on to the next guy. You can watch film. Here's what people don't want to hear. And just listen to me. Technically, man, I can watch film for about 5 minutes, 15 plays, and I can tell you if I need to keep watching or I need to move on. And people can say, "Oh, how can you do that?" I can do it because when I watch film, I'm looking at your feet first, your knees, your legs, your hips, upper torso, your head, hands, all that stuff. So if you are sitting there and like you're a DB and I got my lead foot and it's tilted that way, what are you looking at? What are you already saying in your mind? If you see his foot is tilted that way.
Going inside.
Yes, he's going inside as a possibility, but it tells you, what it tells me is before he takes off, he has to straighten it up.
Mm-hmm.
False step. Wasted movement. If you got a false step and wasted movement before you start the route, it's damn near guarantee you're going to have false movement and a lot of gathering when you get in and out of the break.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I used to call them little drummer boys. They doing that, before they break down. They rise up, doesn't shift their weight. So that's how I look at it. That's why that's how I watch guys and let me know. And then I watch corners too, because I go against corners. So watching those corners, is he wide? Me and Pat know this. Is he a wide base? Is he inside? Which hand is his lead or strong hand? Is he right-handed? Is he left-hand dominant? Which side of him is he able to look over his shoulder? All of those things I try to look at and have an understanding to be able to build the best opportunity for myself to be successful in this game.
Yeah, Steve, shoot, you hit around the head, man. Obviously, alluding to what Terrion was saying, obviously you're a student of the game. And part of that is you cooking and being honest on air. You got to critique younger guys you might run into.
Yeah.
Especially that situation with my dog, Jew. I know everybody was talking about it, but how do you mentally handle keeping it real without it getting too personal?
Man, sometimes when we hit this record button and we start talking about something that we're extremely confident in, sometimes we get loose lips. Sometimes we just kind of say things like, we'll say, man, that guy just doesn't have it. And understanding, and I've had a few people that I trust give me some advice and saying, man, Steve, you have to be careful on how you say things because you do such a good job that everybody listens to you. And people take what you say. And so I'm trying my best to say it authentically how I feel. But then sometimes, like you see my setup, man, I'm sitting there on the couch, bro. I got a chair, I'm sitting back. Sometimes you just get loose and you just say, hey, man. And if you watch enough film and then my notes, sometimes you just you say, man, that somebody can't play. And so I'm working on that. But what I don't like to do is say everybody's great because they're not. Like that's one of the words that I don't like using because Jerry Rice was great. You get 1,000 yards in your 8th year, and you've been kind of pedestrian for the first 7. And I'm not talking about anybody specific. I'm just using that as an example. You can't say you're great. You just got what many receivers have been doing for
kind of the lead norm now.
Yeah. I mean, they're running. Well, who was it? Who was I watching? I was watching Detroit Lions or Green Bay Packers. I was watching that. 88 plays, bro. 88 plays.
The Thanksgiving game? Yeah.
88 offensive plays. And I'm watching 88 offensive plays, and I see you do this or I see you flinch because I played wide receiver. And yes, I flinched. You know why I flinched? There was Ed Reed, Lance Briggs, Ray Lewis. Man, there's some dudes over there, bro. You need more than a mouthpiece after that. Yeah. So, but ultimately, I gotta do a better job. I'm holding myself to a bigger standard this year. and making sure that I come correct, that I just state what I see, not be as harsh of a critic, but also just come in with, hey, this is what I like about a guy. This is what I think he needs to work on. And so if I word it a little bit differently, then hopefully is received differently. But I understand the young guys.
I think you got to understand too, though.
Yeah, go ahead, school me.
This is just me, coming from the younger
Man,
generation.
I need
When
it,
somebody
though.
somebody like you and like your pedigree, everything you done accomplished, some of the stuff that you say, with you just being brutally honest, it could hit a nerve just because it's coming from you.
Correct.
And I even just look at it as far as, I remember when I was a kid playing on Cam Newton's 7-on-7 team. I remember some of the stuff that he used to tell kids. Like, Cam was telling the God honest truth, but since it's coming from Cam and the way that you look at him, man, you it hit different. Like, hey, man, Cam said I'm trash, man. I might really be trash.
Man, let me ask you a question, though. This real talk, this real conversation. Now, I'm not sugarcoating it. The part that I struggle with out is I hear a lot of young people say, oh, man, you harsh or you this. But I also hear a lot of young people giving way too many acronyms or giving way too much credit to basic ass stuff, though.
I agree with that too, though.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, that's the GOAT. Nigga been on leave for 15 minutes.
Hey man, I say like a lot of them don't know no better. You know, obviously you get caught up in a moment.
Yeah.
Some of it could be recency bias, but obviously I feel like when you got so many people telling you how great you are, and some of the few ones, you know, that try to critique your game and they take it on a personal level to a personal scale, I think that's where the confusion, you know, rises. Because I feel like even though their game, you know, they're very good at what they're doing, but it's like from your perspective, when you watch film on them, you know they could reach another level. You know what I mean? So I think that's part of the reason.
I agree with you, man, and I receive it, and I take what you guys are saying, right, as law, just because I'm not a young buck, right? You know, I'm kind of at times pessimistic, Paul, right? I'm always looking for, okay, when am I going to see the real player that I've seen? Because a lot of times what I end up doing when I watch film two ways. I watch film when you're coming out, and then I watch film the year before when you weren't coming out. Because I also know that every year there's a new habit to break. And so I want to see, have you advanced or have you taken a step back?
Have you progressed or have you regressed?
Yeah. Or sometimes you start to really show who you are. Like you could have been a really good player your sophomore year, junior year, you was all right. Senior year, you got a little bit better, but your senior year, you just average. You're a 4th round pick that's just going to play special teams, get your opportunity, you know, play for 8 or 9 years, and then bang, you out. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. But I think too, though, Steve, like, don't like misinterpret what we saying.
No,
like,
I'm not.
I think
I'm not. I'm taking.
No, I'm just saying.
No,
like,
I'm taking
with
what
me talking to you,
I'm taking what you're saying as constructive criticism and some young dogs that is giving an old dog a perspective that I am unaware of. Right? I don't know what it's like to be the young guys. Y'all inventing words and doing stuff every week. I'm like, I don't even know what that means. Celebrations. I'm like, bro, I don't get none of that. I'm over there like, what are we doing?
Okay, let me ask you this. We're in an era where receivers are coming into the league and hitting the ground running.
Are they?
Do you think
Are they?
I mean, from my point of view, this is just my perspective here.
Your perspective is extremely valid. Go on, young king.
With my draft class that came in and the receivers that were in that class, not even the receiver, just the quarterback, because I was in an offensive class. Like the first 15 picks were all offensive guys. Well, 14 and then 15.
Tell me
was a lot too.
Which?
I was class 2024. So, I mean, you know, first pick, you know, you got Caleb.
Oh,
then you had Jane Daniels. Then you had Drake May. You know, just so on. I mean, you know, you had guys like receiver-wise. You had Marv. You had Malik. You had Brian Thomas. A lot of guys. So, with that, do you think teams will ever get to the point where they actually devalue the wide receiver position because of that?
No, you're not going to devalue it. What you're going to have that a lot of these young guys don't understand, right? So right now, on my list of receivers, there's 70 receivers who are scheduled to become draft available. Now, COVID and a little bit before and a little bit after, those 3 years were the outliers of generally where wide receivers are drafted. I think it was 27. Usually it's about 15 to 20 guys. I think one time it was almost 29, 30. But outside of that, everybody's not getting drafted, right? They have so many guys that go to the combine, but not every guy goes to the combine, gets drafted, no matter how good of a time he runs. So they're never going to devalue him because there's always going to be so many, and there's going to be so many guys who you think, and then all of a sudden they get there, and it does not translate for what you do in college to have an automatic success in the NFL. It just doesn't. You have X's and Z's in offense in college, and they get drafted, and they throw them to a Z to an X and an X to a Z. I was when I came to Utah, I was a Z. They put me at X. I got drafted. I was behind Musa and Muhammad at Z. Dan Henney was like, you need to go on X. They switched me to X. Then when I go to Baltimore under Gary Kubiak's offense, they moved me to Z. And then I didn't play slot. I didn't start playing slot till probably my 5th or 6th year when I started to learn how to play in the slot.
For people that don't know, what's the difference between an X and a Z receiver?
So a Z receiver is off the ball. He's primarily the strength where lined up where the tight end is. X receiver, I call him stationary stand. He has no movement. He has to create his own shot. For me, a X back in the day, that was Messi. That was a guy who it was the go-to. Now they switched it to Z. But they even have morphed it. Now it's F. So the go-to guy plays F, the number 2 plays Z, and the speed guy always plays X. Right? The speed guy, they feel like you don't give him any lead. You don't need to give him any kind of movement because his speed will get him out. And so that's really what the positions are and how they're done. And then F is lined up in the slot, and he got carte blanche. Right? It's a la carte. He gets everything he wants to. They look, a lot of offense coordinators look for the F to be a mismatch or get him out in space against the best corner, and that way he can do his deal.
Steve, let me ask you this. Yeah. As you saying like how the, positions change frequently over the years, do you think receivers nowadays, like their room for error is much larger than what it was back in the day? Like knowing the rules now, like knowing more of a pass-heavy league, knowing that shit, we can't touch them boys. After 5 yards, you can't be as physical. Mm-hmm.
After 2 yards.
Yeah. Because back in the day, shit, they could, you could touch motherfuckers past 5 yards.
I don't think the margin is bigger. What I believe is happening, right? These wide receivers are getting paid, but they also getting cut faster too because or traded away. If you cannot produce ASAP, then they move on from you. And I think it's becoming more apparent which receivers actually have good FBI, football intelligence, and know why they're running a route and how they're running a route versus just doing the route because that's the way the coach told them to run it.
That leads to my next question. Is there anything you like to see differently in how teams develop receivers today?
One, not every team knows how to develop receivers. Not every coach knows how to develop and work with wide receivers. One, is such a pass heavy and all these, Terrion, like you said, 7-on-7, right? So many guys are playing 7-on-7, having that skill set, but they're not understanding the why they're running the route, how to run it against zone coverage, how to run against man coverage, how to use guys' leverage, create free access, be able to not get bumped off. And so because of the 7-on-7, a lot of young men are coming into college with all the answers to the test. And the problem is when y'all boys get a guy that's highly touted, Mr. All-World. He gets that to Alabama, and now he's the fourth wide receiver, and he getting clamped every practice. And then he doesn't know what to do because he's never been there before, because he's rarely had adversity in his life, in football, right? Where he's never had to, what do you mean I have to earn? What do you mean I have to, I'm in rotation, right? And one of the biggest things I think that some of the young guys don't understand is when you're a high volume receiver in college, that doesn't guarantee that you're going to be a high volume receiver in the pros. You got to be able to do everything you were drafted to with 6 or 7 targets instead of 10 or 15 targets a game.
And you got to make the most out of them targets.
You got to make the most out of those targets. You can't
catch the ball. You can't just catch the ball and be stationary. Nope. You got to be a playmaker.
Yes.
That's how you get paid.
And that's why I said that they don't have more leeway. I think you're starting to get it. I mean, it's a biblical term, but it's the wheat and the tares, right? A lot of people don't realize the reason why you have to let the wheat and the tares kind of fully blossom, because if you eat a tare and don't realize what it is, man, tares are poisonous. They can kill you. So that's why you got to be very careful. You can't be fooled.
Building off basically like what Pat said, what's happening in player development where athletes seem more NFL ready nowadays than in the past?
When you're looking at athletes, especially the NFL now, you're looking at it on Sunday or Thursday night or Sunday night or Monday night. I don't necessarily think that they're becoming more NFL ready. I believe they're being forced to be in a lineup when sometimes those guys are not NFL ready. Right? And we see it how a guy has so much success or a little bit of success, and then all of a sudden he comes in the next year and he takes a step back, and then it's not working out. He gets traded. And so you get a lot of young guys, especially offensive guys. You get a lot of offensive guys that if they don't catch on early enough, man, they get left, they get traded, they get moved out, and they find themselves on the depth chart, and they get it kind of it sucks because they're unprepared. They're unprepared for understanding that they may not be the number one wide receiver just because they were drafted in the first round or the second round.
Michael Irvin went viral recently for defending his name from people comparing stats across eras. Like, do you feel underrated in that regard when people talk about all-time receivers? Like, I feel like your name doesn't get quite mentioned enough, or do you feel like, man, I left my legacy, I left my mark? That's the people's, opinion, people's choice. But, when you look back at your career, I know you feel like, man, I definitely think I'm one of the greats, but how do you feel as far as other people not mention you in that regard?
Well, I did see the Michael Irvin thing. It came across my timeline too. That man was sweating. That's all I do know. But I don't
not hearing that, boy.
I'm not sitting there really. I don't need to defend myself. Here's why. I just remember I was a young, undersized wide receiver, and now when you undersized wide receivers, everybody always asks me, who reminds you of yourself? I didn't even remind myself of anyone that I try to play. Like, I wanted to be Jerry Rice, but I couldn't do Jerry Rice stuff. So for me, I don't need, especially some fans who we love and the fans make our game. But here's what I do. Do you ask a homeless man, what's a good restaurant to eat at? That's for y'all to answer.
Shit.
Nah.
Exactly.
Nah.
I mean, you do got a point, though. You do got a point. That's kind of bottom of the barrel.
Hey, you go. In my head, I'm like, you could have used a different analogy, Steve.
That threw you off, huh?
Hey, I didn't know what to say.
Yeah, because you naturally you were like, hell no, I ain't asking no homeless dude. My point is, man, you can't ask people who don't know what they're talking about. Yes, you could break down film. Yes, you could GBT some great analysis and talk about that. And there's some guys out there who've never played who are awesome. But when you play the game and you've experienced it,
Mhm.
man, I'm not looking for someone else to tell me how I did. Man, I got a poster of myself with all my stats. I don't need that.
Mhm.
And it doesn't matter what it is because I know what I experienced.
Yeah, and it seems like so many people seek that validation, like towards.
Oh yeah.
Like you said,
I
like
used to
towards people.
seek. I'm not gonna cap. I used to seek validation, bro. I really
Mhm.
did. I was looking for other guys.
What changed?
And you start realizing, one, you seeking that validation, and I didn't take compliments very well anyway. So it was kind of oxymoron. Like I'm seeking validation, but then even when I get it, I don't pay attention. I'm not holding on to it. It's actually when somebody gave me a compliment for a long time, I never actually received it and held it for what it was and what it was worth. And so now I'm kind of looking at it where I'm not looking for validation, especially from strangers, folks that I have never met and they've never met me, or we've had a 5-minute conversation. I just don't look for it anymore, and I've grown some to where it's like, hey, I know who I am. I'm comfortable in my skin. I have people all the time come up to me, man, I know you missed the game. No, I don't. Looking at y'all, how you treatment, how you get overcoached and criticized by the coach when y'all lose, but you didn't call none of them sorry plays that they said they weren't gonna call, right? Right. All the practices, all that stuff, man. I don't miss that. And the best part about where I'm at today is when I go to sleep after watching Sunday's game, man, win, lose, or draw, I still sleep pretty good.
Yeah.
I get up on Monday like, whew, oh. And then there's a few times like, oh yeah, my back, or oh, it's raining here in Charlotte, so it's a little cold. Man, that right knee hurting.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That left ankle with the rod in it, man, that thing is stiff today. I don't miss that stuff. Right? I enjoyed it when I had it. But now I'm like, man, I was free.
Yeah, you served your purpose.
Yeah, I was free.
Stage. Yeah.
I ain't put on a pair of cleats since I retired, bro.
Yeah.
That's real, bro. That's real. So if you had to look back at your prime, what system or play caller in today's NFL would you have wanted to play for and why?
That's a tough question because 75% of the league is running the same offense. They're all from the same tree.
Shanahan.
No, see, Shanahan gets a little bit. So, first of all, it's Mike Shanahan / Gary Kubiak's offense. Because Mike Shanahan was offensive coordinator for San Francisco 49ers, and his quarterback coach was Gary Kubiak. And then when they went on to Denver, his offensive coordinator became Gary Kubiak. And then Gary goes to Houston, and he has a wide receivers coach and an assistant wide receivers coach named Mike McDaniels and Kyle Shanahan. And then they also had this guy named Shane Waldron who was on there. And then they went to Washington with his dad, and then Kevin O'Connell was the quarterback's coach. Then the tight ends coach was Sean McVay. So this thing is, man, this offense started in 1984, bro. The San Francisco 49ers.
So it's a whole coordinator play calling tree.
Yes.
From 1980s to where we at now.
1984.
Bro, it was
still going into 2020.
Yes.
That's crazy.
It was coaches on that 84 team or over the years in the 90s with the San Francisco 49ers. That, bro, it'll blow your mind. Jeff Fisher, George Seifert, like linebacker coaches, DB coaches, like all these guys who became really good, successful coaches. Obviously, Andy Reid, Steve Mariucci, John Gruden, what was his name? Shermer. They used to be in Green Bay. Mike McCarthy. All of this stuff is, and those guys are coming on. But then Now the league, Kevin O'Connell, Matt LaFleur, Mike McDaniels, Sean McVay.
Sean Payton.
No, Sean Payton doesn't run the same offense. He runs an old school. He runs an old school. He runs that old school offense.
I just wanted to give him a shout out.
No,
man.
Sean. I've been knowing Sean for a long time, man. Sean runs a different kind of system. Sean still kind of runs a little bit of some of the offense that I had when I was in Carolina under Dan Henning.
Yeah.
So, but Sean has done a really good job with Davis Webb of kind of mingling in some of that new offense. So I wasn't going to say some of the play calls that I know, but I just leave it at that.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Me and Pat talk about this. So as a player, and you know how we kind of just talked about the outside world, it's a lot of things that we play through and go through that people don't know about. What is the toughest thing? It could be news. It could have been an injury, just something mentally affecting you that you had to play through that nobody knew that you were playing through.
You ready?
Yeah.
Man, I just got LASIK a couple of weeks ago because the technology now has the ability for my for the stigmatism that I had in my right eye to be able to do it. I couldn't wear contacts. So I used to have to wear glasses in meetings, and I used to have to wear glasses about 4 or 5 hours a day. Mm-hmm. And I just got my eyes fixed at 46 years old. It was right when I did the pivot. Everybody talks about how my eyes were so red. I was 2 days out of LASIK surgery. So for me, I played with bad vision.
Shoot, it do be like that though, man. Shoot.
Yeah.
That's how I feel when the ball be in when the ball be in the light.
Oh yeah, when the night games,
that'd be the worst, bro.
Oh, night games. That's why I started taking the fine. Now you can. I started taking the fine. Night games, man. I'm wearing a visor. Take my 10 racks. I'm still clearing. I'm still clearing 6.5 figures. So I ain't worried about it.
So that dark visor be working.
Yeah, it tints a little bit, especially when you play night games and how bright it is when you look up.
So let me ask you this. Mm-hmm. Did that sort of like get that chip on your shoulder knowing you ain't got no vision out there? You like, man, I gotta find a way to pull with my so nah, motherfucker, I can't see shit.
Touche.
Ice up, son.
Oh, touche. I like that.
What they say, God had to take some.
That boy out there. I can't see. Nah, I mean, I was always told I was undersized. I was always told that I wasn't the prototype. I was Santana Moss, that's the dog, but he was drafted in the first round. And so Santana Moss ain't 5'10", right? And so then I was told that I went to a smaller school. They weren't sure about the competition. So I every kind of turn I had a lot of people, coaches, telling me why it wasn't going to make it. And I had some family members, you need to have more realistic dreams. So I just experienced a lot of things where I rarely felt supported at a young age. And I was undersized. And so and then in college, I had a C4 burst fracture. So I broke my neck in college, and then I couldn't get surgery because if I got it fused at that time, that would disqualify you. Then all of a sudden, Chris Winkie, he goes in the 4th round, wins the Heisman. He broke his neck. So I've been through a lot career-wise that just kind of built those calluses to say, hey man, I can't believe and can't sit on my laurels. I gotta keep grinding. Yeah, and it was exhausting. That's the other part why, man, it's exhausting trying to be a dirtbag every day. Man, it's
yeah.
Hey, was some of it fake just to antagonize situations out there? Or was it like
it was ain't nothing fake. It was real. Like I got up.
You really felt like
up. I know some dudes be like, man, I'm just gonna bring out some fake juju, bro, some fake energy. And say,
so you used to wake up, brush your teeth, and just be mad.
Nah, it'd be in the car, listening to music.
Yeah.
Who you was listening to?
Anything get pissed off.
Shit, Bone Crusher, Jeezy.
Hey, he was listening to Tupac.
Yeah.
Hit him up. hey, he in the first off.
And the click you claim. Yeah.
Man. Man, that's crazy. All right. You know, when I was at the draft, I got a chance to, man, you know, kick it with some of the great ones, man. I spent time with Patrick Peterson and Richard Sherman.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was talking to them, man, you know, they just going reflecting on their careers or whatever. Sherman's storyteller, so he gets to telling us his story. Yeah, man. Sherman, hey, that's a funny dude, by the way.
Sherm is hilarious. Every time me and Sherm hang out, Sherm is gonna throw a dig at me of what I did to him.
Okay, hey. So you know why I'm getting at. You know why I'm getting at. Sherm, hey.
Yeah.
I'm talking about we going down.
The last time I saw Sherm, I was working. Man, I had to buy him a drink. I was like, dog, I'm sorry. Man, I bought it was his birthday. He was with some guys. We was all in the hotel, and I bought him a drink. And he was like, you know what, Steve? You actually a really cool dude.
hey. But nah, Steve, it's crazy you say that. That's how you know that drink get to talking. So, hey, when I'm over there with him, man, you know, we in Green Bay, man. It ain't really nothing we can do. We had to draft, man. The hotel hospitality was nice. So, I mean, when I'm there, you know, I'm just soaking up game, talking to him or whatever. Term say, hey, how many picks you had last year? I'm like, man, I ain't have none. He said, you know why? I said, why? He said, because you ain't drink during the off season. I said, man, well, sure, man. I just turned 22 years old, man. Last year, man, I had just got my ID, so I mean, drinking legally is a kind of a new thing for me.
You don't know how to act,
so
huh?
Then, yeah. So then after that, he look at the lady. He say, hey, man, let me get some on the rocks. I'm like, man, on the rocks, man. What is on the rocks? He said, hey, young fella, drink this. I'm like,
what was it?
Man, it was just tequila. It was just tequila. So I'm like,
straight.
Hey, so I'm like, hey, listen. I'm like, all right, have a little sip. So when I have a little sip, man, you know, I'm questioning my integrity, man. My granddad always told me, hey, man, T, you don't want to get into that, man. One thing about me, hey, I go to the club. I don't do, like, it's just a personal thing. I don't do strip clubs. Like, I don't do strip clubs. One time I was out with my friend, man, they almost got me, man. I'm walking in there. I said, man, hold on, man. They tell me, man, these wings amazing. I'm like, man, where we at?
We in Magic City?
Man, come on, man. You ain't never heard of Magic City, man? I'm like, man, hold on, man. People Steve, I don't even know what they had in mind. I don't even know how they thought I was gonna get in, Steve. I'm 18 at the time, so I don't even know what they thought that was. So, anyways, moral of the story is, man, you know, I'm kind of questioning. I'm like, man, I don't need to be doing this. So then, you know, had me a little sip or whatever. Sherm look over, he say, man, you ain't done yet, man? I'm gonna get some more with you, man. Matter of fact, let me get another one. Now he 2 in. When he 2 in, you know, I'm just talking to him like, man, who like just going against people in the league, man. How did you start forming your battles or whatever? He say, you wanna know about Crabtree? I say, nah, man, I'm just genuinely asking, man, like your battles and stuff, man. How did stuff start forming? Man, Steve, he say, I'll just give you the rundown, man. So he started giving me the rundown or whatever, man. He give me the rundown with that. He give me the rundown. Percy Harvin, man. He give me the whole rundown. So then he get to you. They say, and Pat Pete over there too. He say, yeah, man, one thing about them Panthers, man. They was sorry, man. But hey, want to get Steve, boy, you had to make sure you watch tape that week. So then in my head, I'm like, man, so just going to get Steve, man, what made him like what made him so good? Term say, Steve had 2 routes. He said the quarterback was going to keep his eyes on Steve the whole time. You want to jump the slant? Sluggo. Oh, you want to sit back? Here come the slant. Then when he catches the slant, you got to be worried about what he going to do to you. And he say, Steve going to talk the whole time. Then, you know, he told me like some of the words like y'all was exchanging just as far as going back and forth. And like, I'm just interested just knowing like when y'all was going against each other with those battles, like, what were those like, and like, what was your mentality going into that game? Because he told me like one time, you know, they was beating the brakes off of y'all. I think you had, man. Like he said, man, that was one of the worst games of his career. He said, man, they like, hey, man, it's all right, man. At least we got the dub. I just got 160 put on me. You talking about a dub? Like what? Kind of like walk us through that, man. Just as far as like that mentality going against him and stuff.
With Sherm, there was always respect. I watched a ton of film on Sherm, obviously, you know, going to Stanford. But what I really loved about Sherm is Sherm was from Compton. I grew up right down the street from Compton. I grew up on 126 in Avalon. And so I've always had a great respect for Sherm. But I also knew, like, yo, this Cali versus Cali. So Cali dudes, they're a little bit different. Man, I would talk, but at the same time, Sherm wasn't necessarily a mute now. It wasn't like he wasn't speaking back to me. So, I mean, it was just having fun. And also, too, man, I grew up. So my mom is one of 13. So it's a ton of us. And so I just watched my family members, how they used to play dominoes and spades and Keno and just how they used to talk. So you just kind of grew up, and then obviously playing in the neighborhood, you start cooking people, you start talking to them sideways. So it just became one of those things for me where I knew I was in the game when I was just being myself, saying how I really feel. And a lot of times when I talk, like you see me in some of the old highlights, if I got up and I was spinning the ball, and I would say, man, I don't know why this dude think he can cover me. I technically wasn't even talking about the DB. And I was talking to myself. I was just kind of getting myself going against Patrick, Revis, Sherm, Brandon Browner. There's a ton of guys, man, that, you can get 160, 125 put on you, and then you go to another team and they got a great scheme, and the dude have a good game on you, and you got, 4 catches, 57 yards, and he think he did something, right? So that's just part of the game, man. It really is a roller coaster.
We talk about DBX, right? Like stuff that drives us crazy that we see other DBs do. As a receiver, what about today's game annoys you the most? Whether it's technique, effort, or how guys train, whatever it is, what's your receiver icks?
I think how guys train is a problem. Right, when I'm seeing this underwear Olympics, guys are running routes, no shirt on, jocks, socks. Some of them got headbands on, sunglasses. And here's why I have a problem with it. Because you're never going to run that route in the game. When have you damn near butt naked running a route? When?
Shit, nah.
Never.
I've never seen that with my own two eyes.
Nah, not even OTAs.
So here's why I say it's a problem. Soon as they happen, you've seen it. Both of y'all have seen it. Terrion, not as much as you, but Pat. First 2 plays are the first time they get into OTAs, organized team activities, or training camp. Blow a tire. You know why? Because they have a helmet on, shoulder pads, girdle. They have all these things that they never trained with. Their body is not used to what they actually have to do their job in. So you are preparing, and psychologically, the muscle memory for your body is saying, this is how we train. Then you put on the equipment, and all of a sudden that helmet feels like 100 pounds.
True.
And so what happens? Pop, twinge.
Gasket.
So that's one of the things. So I would always, and I still do when I'm working out, and I always try to put on a lot of clothes because I want to sweat, get your body going. And then, man, when I used to train I put on a weight vest because that would simulate actually me having pads on or a guy holding on to me when I run a route.
Yeah.
And restricted me. And so now my hamstrings and quads are now able to run through some of the force that you're not being used when you just out here, running with some shorts on and some cleats and ankle socks and no clothes on. DBs that get on my nerves, man, this seatbelt thing, bro. This seatbelt thing, this.
What you don't like about it, bro?
Man, come on, bro.
So what you don't like about that?
Well, some of them, like if a dude drop a pass, you don't get credit.
Okay, that's valid.
Right?
Valid.
Or the ball is overthrown.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's valid. That's valid.
Right?
Yeah.
Or the double seatbelt. Like, first of all, ain't nobody doing nothing in the seatbelt. Seatbelt is to sit back you in the car seat. Ain't no kids out there, man. And so it's like I find it funny.
What would you want to see then?
You asked me. I don't really have a counter. I just know what I just disliked.
The little
How you
finger
feel about
wag.
this right here?
Matumbo.
Oh man, that's that's cold though. I tell you, when you do that, it's like, damn, he was right.
Okay.
So it's just it's the ones that I don't like is when the ball is overthrown or the receiver drops it or doesn't catch it, and it has nothing to do with the defender.
That's
Like
that's
if
valid.
the
That's
receiver had caught it, the defender wouldn't even be able to make the tackle.
valid. Yeah. Okay. We want you to build your perfect wide receiver,
Mm.
but you can't pick yourself.
I'm not gonna pick myself. It's too many. It's too many better receivers out there.
Yeah, you're very humble.
We love
You know what
the,
I mean?
humility. You're a very
try to
humble
be.
guy, man. You know, you're not really the guy that they describe you in your past life,
Stop.
man.
I mean, hey, we all gotta evolve at some point, right?
Yeah.
Did
Did you-
There might be some people close to me that disagree.
Oh, okay. Well, actually, this isn't going to be the last question. This
Shout out
actually
to
isn't going to be the
Toyota.
last question. I have
We're giving
one
away
more.
free Toyotas.
Tundras.
It's holiday season.
Man, I already know, right? So give me cheetah speed.
Okay.
Give me JSN routes. Man, you know who hands I think is underrated?
Yeah.
Pat, you seen him?
Oh,
Pat Bryant.
shout out.
I
PB.
like him out of Illinois, bro. A lot of
Shout
people.
out PB.
Man, a lot of people don't understand. I loved him coming out of college. He's really, really good.
Yeah.
He doesn't get a lot of credit.
Steve, I tell you,
Uses
bro,
his
I went up
body.
against him in training camp, and some catch he make in practice, you just be
Yeah.
like, man, it's consistent. Like it's consistent catches, bro. Like
Yes.
he's the real deal.
Give me Randy Moss's height or Tedero McMillan's height.
Mm-hmm.
And then just the smoothness of Justin Jefferson. Like a lot of people don't realize how smooth
Yeah.
Justin Jefferson is.
Nah, just smooth.
Yeah,
He's smooth.
He really is. And then give me CD Lamb's targets.
We got two more though. We got toughness and trash talk.
I'm not on the sidelines anymore and at the games as much, so I really can't. I don't really know trash talking and all that. So on which guys are toughness though, I got to use today's game.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to use today's game. You done
Dang,
already said
'cause
everybody into. You done said
Because
everybody
here's what I was
into
about to
today's
say.
game.
I was about to say, give me toughness and Quan Bolden when that man got his face broken and then played the
Wow.
next week after plastic surgery.
Mm.
Yeah,
Different.
That's resiliency.
yeah. No, that's just that little bit more than resiliency.
What they call that? He's from the muck.
yeah.
It's just muck.
Let me see. Toughness.
All right, replace toughness with electrifying. Like somebody that you just watch, like as a kid, you like almost kind of like how people used to watch the Tavon Austin highlight tape. Like, who do you look at in the league and you like, man, I don't know what he finna do on Sunday, but man, hey, I'm tuned in. You don't feel like that about? I mean, you don't feel that way about anybody in the league today?
Yeah, I do feel like that. It's just who you referred to. Tavon Austin's
It was a
highlight tape was aight.
It was.
What?
It was. Wait, hold on, Steve. What?
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. Steve.
All right, Steve. So who has the best college highlight tape of all time?
I'm not saying best highlight. I'm just saying when you look at Tavon Austin's highlight tape, a lot of his stuff is screens, reverses. He's getting going, but he ain't routing nobody up, dog. And I'm a receiver.
Hey, Steve, I got something to tell you.
Yes.
You can tell them that I've
That's
been
a
doing
highlight tape.
That's the highlight tape. Hey, Steve, looking at me like.
Before
I don't
every
know what you're
Little
talking
League game,
Yeah, that's the intro to the highlight tape.
I used to cut on that Tavon Austin tape.
Mhm.
It was just
Man, Tavon, I know Tavon, and I saw him when he was with St. Louis, all that stuff. We talk about translation. It didn't translate. One of the reasons why it didn't translate, my man was lighting a
ass.
caboose.
What you just said?
Caboose.
Hold on, wait.
That mean lighting
what
the
you
ass?
just said, Pat?
Pause.
you said like okay.
Bro. Did you just
He said it twice. He said it with conviction. You heard what I said, Terrion. You heard it.
Wait, my bad, bro. Listen, I interpret that
Steve,
very wrong.
I'm like,
My
you gonna
bad.
repeat that?
You sure about that?
Nah.
Hey, have you feel Toyota?
Hey, shout out
We
Toyota,
giving
bro.
away Subarus.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, this is the last question. This is the last question, Steve. This is the last question, man. We always kind of like have these little moments where we just talking about the youth or whatever.
Mhm.
Not the youth or whatever, but we just talking about the youth and stuff. So this whole segment has been very good. But like, if you could just give any advice to the younger generation coming up with everything like you done been through and stuff, and just kind of give them game, what would you leave here with?
Now sitting back, I would say, especially with the NIL stuff, when you're a college athlete, man, it's a privilege. But you also have an opportunity to grow and learn and take your schoolwork seriously, because even if you play in the league for the next 20 years, you were drafted 22 years old, you play 10 years, you're 32, man, you still got a lot of life to live. Man, just absorb and understand that this is a business and learn the business, because the business of football can translate into other areas in your life that can help you, that you can thrive in. So that's what I would tell you, man, is don't just look at football as, man, I'm gonna get to the league, or I need my name and likeness so I can get paid, because there's a lot of undrafted free agents who made $500,000 last year in college and on practice squads. There's a lot of receivers and DBs, linebackers, whatever in college that made $1 million, 1.2, and go undrafted. I would say just don't act like where you are today is going to be like this for the rest of your life.
Dude, that's real, man. Well, Steve,
Real, man.
appreciate you, my dog. Thank you for coming on the show, dog.
Hey, I appreciate y'all. Y'all some young bucks, man. And Terrion, you're a heck of a football player, man. I watch your stuff. It's unfortunate with you, but man, you on a good team. You got some. You can ball, and then hopefully years to come, man, I can sit down with you like I did with Pat and break down your film.
Real legend.
Be real, man. I appreciate you, man. Real
Man,
legend, man.
it was fun. It was fun breaking down that film and going over with Pat, because I know Pat walked in kind of, he's a young buck. He walked in like, what's this fool gonna say, or how he's gonna come at me? And I walked in with all business, had all my plays, and he was
yeah, you
really
studying.
actually do.
One thing I will say about you though,
Yeah.
bro, like Steve, I don't think you understand, bro. Like when I saw that, even like that video with Pat, just sitting up how you are, you could tell, like, just as far as like when you in different buildings and stuff, even like being on the podcast, like, yeah, and you here to give game and stuff, but when you really talking about your craft, you could tell when somebody really know the game and really watch the game. Like me and Pat talk about some of these old heads, man. This ain't no knock to them, but it's a different game. And unless you really watching the game, still connected with the game, it's not the same game that they were playing back in the day. Same thing. It won't be the same game that me and Pat playing 20 years from now. Same thing with college. So, I mean, that's a lot of respect to you.
I appreciate it and I accept it. Thank you. I would tell you though, sometimes some of the old heads who they were not challenged or expected to know the game totally.
Yeah.
Right? There are some players who, when they played in the system, they were just told, this is what you're going to do. And that's not their fault. That's just sometimes they were typecasted, right? I remember I was typecasted for a long time, and I had to kind of push, like, yo, put me in a slot, line me up at different positions, right? Let me run some of these routes that you have other guys running, so I can learn how to be a all-around wide receiver. And, so I just was afforded, and I had some great people around me that allowed me to learn the game. Not everybody gets that opportunity. So it may sound like an excuse to them, but also, man, I love watching film. Like that's just where my comfort zone is. I love watching film. I let the film speak, because there's no sense for me to try to make things up. Here's why I do a football show and why it's so simple for me. I never have to think of any concepts. Every week there's a new story to tell. every week there's something happening that I get to talk about or I witness or I watch. And then I can look at film and then go look at your stats and confirm exactly what I was thinking when I was watching the tape.
That's all we got, folks, on Close on Sundays, a Wave original. Appreciate Steve Smith for rocking with us this episode.
A lot more to come, man. Make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscribe on Spotify and Apple. Deuces.